And welcome, guys. Welcome to the Hair Wire, the place where you get hair smart. I'm Sergio Cardona, coming to you from different places of the world right now. We're from Canada, Puerto Rico, and Florida. How you guys are doing? This is Carrie, Jerry, Basan, this is, and of course, Jasmine, who is coming with us today. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Well, I was telling you before we started the show that I'm super, super cold, and it's just 70 degrees outside.
2020 for the ones who use Celsius system. Over here, 70. It's freezing in the Caribbean. I mean, we have right now over 82, 83 on the morning and 87, 88, almost 90 at the evening. So, hey, that's summer weather for most of you. And how about you, Carrie? What you guys are having right now?
Well, I'm in Winnipeg. Right now it is 2 degrees, and that's actually warmed up.
So it's about 34, 30, 37, right, in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cold for us right now.
Jasmine, where are you? What's the weather like there?
It's -3 right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposed to get up to -1. Woohoo. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy
though.
weather.
We've been waiting. I'm going to tell you guys where I am. So I'm in Winnipeg right now, visiting my husband, as you know. And yes, this last weekend we went to the Human Rights Museum. Now, if you guys see the Canadian $10 bill, there is a female on there, and on there is a picture of an architectural building that looks like a helmet. It is the Human Rights Museum. So we took our kids there and talked about human rights and saw the different history of human rights. It was incredible. And then the cool thing is the woman on the $10 bill, I didn't realize she was a hairdresser. Yeah, and she ended up going to jail and getting tax evasion because she fought against the separation of the colored community and the Caucasian community being in separate rooms or different areas seating during the theater. And she owned a salon, and she goes, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not sitting here. We're all together. We're going to sit together. And she sat together, and they pulled her out police officers pulled her out, put her in jail for tax evasion, and she got fined. And she was the first woman to stand up for for rights in Canada. So that's how she made the $10 bill. And I was like, yeah, salon owner.
We're the revolutionary ones.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then tomorrow we're going to the Winnipeg Zoo. And if you guys know Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh is named after Winnipeg. So we're also going to a Weenie exhibit after. So it's pretty fun. A lot of education here while we're here. So
That's nice.
That's amazing. That's amazing stuff. And today, guys, we have an amazing subject. Today, we're going to be talking about crinkly hair. Crinkly hair. What's that all about? What's crinkly hair? Well, if you have noticed any weird texture hair around your head, then maybe you may be experiencing crinkly hair. And we're going to be talking about all that and more. So, Carrie, walk us through this crinkly hair mystery.
Absolutely. Well, my girlfriend Jasmine contacted me because she has medium to fine hair, and she was telling me, Carrie, I have random textures in my hair. What does it mean? Now I'm going to quickly introduce Jasmine. Jasmine used to teach with me on the Matrix Canada team, and that's how we know each other. So she is a cosmetologist, and she knows hair. And there's times too, as cosmetologists, we get stumped even with our own situations. And so I said, you know what, Jasmine, do you want to come in on the YouTube channel with us, and we could talk about it and kind of go from there. So yeah, Jasmine, you want to introduce yourself a little more and then kind of dive in and tell us your story?
Yeah, I am a cosmetologist. I've been doing hair for 18 years. I just stepped away from owning a salon and raising babies. I am expecting right now, but this issue with my hair, thank you, has been going on for over a year now. Or coming up on a year since I've noticed it, I should say. And my daughter would have been 2.5 by then, 2. So I did have a daughter, and I think maybe, I don't know if hormones had anything to do with that or not. And first I thought my hair was fried, to be honest, and that's why I chopped it all off. I'm kind of sad I chopped it off because it was really long after having a baby and everything. And yeah, it mainly has been like wiry, crinkly hair growing at the top of my crown has been the main area, is just at the crown. And I've talked to many hairdressers, I've Googled and tried to figure out what is causing it. And I've had my thyroid and everything checked as well. My doctor and my naturopath, basically, they have no answers. So it's been really weird, and it's just, and I keep plucking them out. Thankfully, I have a crap ton of hair because I would be probably bald up top if I didn't. But yeah, it's just mainly in the crown of my hair. I get the odd one underneath or up front, but it's way back here. So yeah, I've just been kind of stumped, and I knew Carrie was specializing in this, so I reached out to her and thought I'd see if you guys could help me out.
Can I ask you just some questions? Can you describe for us and the audience how does it look, like the hair strand? How does it look?
So it feels like, so some are really wiry and corkscrewy, and then some feel like almost like I've taken a flat iron to it, and like it's really kinky when I feel the hair shaft, like it's not smooth. And so I first was like, am I frying my hair? I've doubled up on the heat protection. I've lowered the heat protection or the heat tools I'm using. And like usually, like most of my clients and myself, like the most damage is usually around the face where you're using more of your hot tools, because I only wash my hair like once or twice a week, but it's in the back of my head. So yeah, it's a really weird feeling texture where my hair shaft is usually really smooth, and like I've never had anything like that.
And you said it's in the crown area.
Yeah, usually like right at the crown.
Does it have pain? Like it is painful? The follicles are painful or sore?
Like to touch, or
yes.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, when I pull them out, it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I wouldn't say it's painful. No.
Okay, so you just felt them because you felt them, not because there was pain or anything.
Yeah, you can see that's one of them there.
Cool.
And like some are wiry and some are really fine, like and fragile that I've had.
Cool. There's a couple theories on why this type of situation happens, and the most common one usually it's related to genetics. Over here in Puerto Rico, we get that a lot because of the mixed races, and we have a lot of people who often has straight hair, and all of a sudden they will develop corky coil hair all of the sudden. Now, there's another theories, and it's more into the hormone area. Now, usually when you check out your hormones, you might say, well, they're normal. Why am I getting any hormonal signaling? And one of the things that we have to consider usually when we talk about hormones and of course about hair is that the follicle has its own endocrine system. It produces its own hormones and are not related to the hormones in our blood. Although our hormones in our blood can have an effect, of course, on our hair. But the fact is that our hormones in our scalp, they act differently from the hormones, of course, in our blood. So for that matters, that's one of the other areas. The third, we say theory, is related to dieting. What's coming in the body, because usually whenever we talk about coiling and we talk about cysteine bonds that are being generated into the hair, so how hair structure is being reformed as cysteine bonds become tighter together to create that coil structure that usually we'll see with of course kinky hair or curly hair, not with straight hair or wavy hair. So how the hair has been formed into that particular unit of follicle happens to be different, and usually some types of foods or how we are eating can have an effect on that. The other theories are related to trauma, specific trauma to the follicle, whether it was we say a hit or
blunt force.
exactly,
Like
blunt force. Yeah,
Yeah.
things of that nature can also have an effect on the follicle, particularly on the mouth of the follicle, because when the mouth of the follicle is round, then usually the hair is straight. But when it becomes oblique, then the type of hair that we start seeing is more coily. So those are the type of things that usually we will start looking out to identify what's going on when crinkly hair starts to appear. This is, for me, crinkly hair is a new term. So I knew it was kind of catchy, so I love the term. So usually whenever we look around for crinkly hair, we are looking for those areas in particular, or if there's a combination of factors coming in. Now, usually whenever that happens, if it's hormonal or whether it's dieting, when we correct the situation, it will go back to normal, but most of the time it just stay there. It doesn't change back unless another event, a major event in our life happens that could reverse that effect or even make it worse. So usually those are the type of things that we see. So generally speaking, we will go with cosmetic solutions, try to straighten that hair out as best as we can, because usually once the damage has been formed into that type of into the follicle, then the type of hair that has been formed doesn't go back the way it was. So usually those are the theories that we will look around. Carrie, anything you want to add into that subject?
No, absolutely. You just explained it perfectly. And that's what I tell people too. And women too tend to change every step. There's a pocket of 7 years, 7, 14, 21, 28, that we all have hormonal changes as well. And a lot of times I'll see that quite commonly with women during that age ratio is those little coily hairs. My daughter, she's 8, and she started going on to the 7-ish age, she started getting those, but I know now they're kind of growing out. I don't see them as often as I do, but her hormones are changing being 7. And you quite commonly too, I have a lot of friends that are premenopausal and they're like, the texture of my hair is changing, but it's not all over. It's the fine, straighter hair, but then they have these weird coils coming out everywhere and they're trying to pluck them like their gray hair. I'm like, stop it. It's just your hormones are changing, and you just got to ride it out and see if it's going to correct itself, or if not, we're just going to adapt to the new hair. So yeah.
And it will be very interesting to see if with your new baby 2 years later you will get the same thing.
I know. I was wondering, like, would pregnancy maybe help a little bit reverse it? But then, if I will get it like 2, and I thought like she'd be over 2 by then. 2.5, and I was like, why is this happening now? Like, but it's crazy how the body changes.
Some bodies will take up to 2 years to regulate itself. So it will be very interesting to see with the new baby how it's going to be.
Yeah, and you think like it'll probably stay there, like it won't ever go away. It just might get less, kind of thing.
I don't think so. It's going to go away.
Yeah,
it could happen, but most of the time it stays. Now, usually, as we've been mentioning, if a new event occurs, then that type of situation might correct itself in the next cycle. So you have to remember that each hair has around a lifespan of around 7 years, 5 to 7 years. So after those 5-7 years, if it goes down, when it comes back again, when it grows back again on that same follicle, we might see it differently. There's a possibility, but usually after a strong change has occurred into the follicle, it will never, goes back the way it used to. Usually. So we try to manage it the best way we can in terms of hairstyling. Maybe do some relaxer or other type of solutions to get the hair straight. Flat iron, blow dry, the usual stuff. To get that under control. Then again, another thing that we may all be overlooking as well is climate change. That's another thing over here in the Caribbean. Because of the humidity, hair changes because of the weather, but it doesn't change that much. We will start seeing some changes, but not that much. So usually, when we see that crinkly hair, it will be more related to those type of traumas inside the follicle, and it starts developing the hair in that way.
Okay. Yeah, and I definitely do have, like you said, I have different ethnic background. So my mom we have black, we have just all kinds of mixed in our family.
We're mulattoes. We're mulattoes in some way or another. We're all
Yeah, my mom's
mixed.
got like a fro, so I'm like, well, maybe I'm gonna get like some crazy hair here after having a baby.
That's why I keep telling you. It's funny because we talked to a lot of trichologists in Canada. We have so many mixed race. Like it's hard to find somebody with, and North America it's becoming more prevalent too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I talk to trichologists, I'm like, well, let's ask all about, the history, the ancestors and where they came from, because that plays a big role in what's going on in the hair too. So skin color means nothing in Canada. It's our DNA that makes it all up. So
Yeah. Would you say stress would also, because I did have before, like a year and a half ago, a big thing kind of happened in my life, and it's gotten better now, but would that ever have anything to do with this?
It could.
It could?
yeah.
It will
Okay.
depend, of course, on the strength of the event, and how long did it happen for. It's not common to see stress-related injuries to that follicle in that area,
Okay.
particularly from stress. It's not that common because usually stress will be shown in the form of hair loss. Usually, the hair will shed rather than just transform the way it works,
Okay.
unless that stress will be caused by either blunt trauma or that the follicle has been so inflamed for so long that it could affect the structure of the follicle, and
Okay.
that's very, very, very uncommon to see.
Okay.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
anything, it's the stress affecting the hormones and the hormones that affect the production of the hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was funny. Right around that time, it was like stress, but also my acne. I've struggled with acne my whole life, and it got really, really bad. And then, and then the hair came kind of after. Well, I noticed it after. Like it took a while for me to catch on what was actually happening, but yeah. So I don't know. But, yeah.
Again, if we talk about the hormones on our scalp, one of the things that we need to understand is that when the hair is on the growing phase, on the anagen phase, we will see a large signaling by the hormone estrogen. Estrogen is the hormone that kicks in the signaling from hair growth to hair growth on the scalp. So when that signaling starts to diminish, we will start seeing an uprising on testosterone, which is the hormone that kicks in the catagen phase into the follicle, signaling to, of course, to rest. And then as it goes from peak, it goes down. Then the estrogen kicks in again and go back to anagen. And basically, that's how the cycling moves around the follicle. But those types of hormones, if they are affected by other hormones in their body, then the intensity of those hormones will be affected, and how the hair grows, of course, then will be again affected by the situation. So that's one of the things that we see usually. And of course, you mentioned acne. One of the things that we see, if the scalp starts to get oilier, or the production of oil gets the composition of the oil gets compromised, and we see that a lot with many issues on the scalp, and of course with the hair. If the sebum composition changes, we will start seeing, of course, hair shedding. The root sheet becomes compromised, and of course that sebum might eat it away as it becomes corrosive, and of course we see the hair shedding. But also because of the corrosiveness of toxic sebum, as the composition of sebum changes, we may see that the follicle gets affected by it. So too much corrosiveness create inflammation, and inflammation can lead to many other things into the scalp. So that's one of the major theories when it comes to hormonal changes, specifically and how they react on the scalp. Also, there's people who are more prone to be more sensitive to DHT or to testosterone into the scalp, and that's another issue. That's where genetics kicks into the process, and we may start seeing the composition of the hair being affected as well.
Yeah, it will be interesting if you can see we can see you in person to see the pH of the scalp to see. That will be interesting data, right?
Yeah, definitely. But anything, I use a pH meter to do a consultation, and usually the scale will say that anything between 4.5 and 5.5 is normal, right? Because that's usually what we will normally see. But the thing is that 5.5 is the pH level for the hair. 4.5 is the pH level for the scalp. So usually, whenever I see anything above 4.7, then I will start thinking that the scalp is beginning to see change to an uprising pH level, which could become damaging to the scalp and, of course, to the hair follicle itself. And finally, to the hair, because as the corrosiveness attacks the follicle, it can also affect the hair. And we start seeing fry hair into the process, and it's becomes fry from the bottom, right straight from the follicular ostium. We see that hair becomes basically that cuticle becomes open, like fry hair, and that of course can create damage of all sorts to the hair strand. Very interesting stuff.
Very interesting.
Sorry if I become too technical. Sorry. I see you were like.
No, Sergio is an expert in this area. Like, it is so neat to hear, because you don't consider that, like, especially being a cosmetologist first, you don't learn about this stuff. And through the medical field, they don't talk about this stuff. They just think hair is hair, but your hair is a biometer. It tells you so much. It's like our little magical crystal ball that will tell us everything. Like, you could tell so much about a person just looking at their hair. So I love hearing this, because we don't consider those situations, right? So
No, for
So
sure.
what do you think, guys, should be a treatment plan for her?
That's a good thing. First, sorry if I jump in.
well, I'm loving
No,
that.
I'm talking too much today. So.
We're learning from you today.
No, here's the thing. Because I get to see that a lot in the clinic. So usually, what I like to do is make sure that the scalp hair is balanced. That's the first place where I want to go. And once I get a corrected balance scalp, and particularly I want to make sure that the microbiome is balanced on the scalp, that the pH level is balanced on the scalp, that the sebum production is balanced on the scalp, that we're not seeing dandruff or anything, things of that sort. Also, we want to correct the thickness of the hair, because sometimes we may start seeing some hairs become thinner than others. So I also want to balance the correct proportion in terms of the thickness of the hair, so to make it more balanced all around it. And then also, then we go through the hair. We want to make sure that the amounts of proteins in the hair are correct. And usually with a polarized microscope, we see like a prismatic image on the hair. So we see a range of colors into the hair, and according to that range of colors, we may be able to basically tell how much protein is left or missing into that strand of hair. And also on the microscope, you see how open the cuticles are, so we know how dry that hair is. So by correcting the right amount of proteins and moisturizers, we are able to at least rebalance that hair as much as possible. And after that, it's all about styling, because again, if the hair doesn't change back to the way it was in terms of structure, then the only thing left is a good blow dryer, a good flat iron, and maybe a blow dries no, I say that blowout service. That's the one that you call it. A good blowout service, the things of that nature that can help straightening that hair.
Yeah. And I always say with all of my clients with that too, is really focus on like scalp services, scalp massaging, really exfoliating, making that skin very supple and very soft. And so that way the skin isn't as taut. So that way it does have opportunity to absorb any of the moisture or not hold on to anything and break up all the dry skin as well. So.
Okay. Is there any products that you guys like highly recommend or don't recommend? Or
serum? I'm a serum pusher. Hair oil and scalp oil, especially if you have a dry scalp. I make all my clients, male, female, short hair, long hair, curly hair, wavy hair, fine hair, baby hair. They all have serum, primarily because you want to keep your ends very conditioned and nourished. And especially if you have hair that is compromised, it could be more brittle. It also has different texture, and that synthetic oil is essentially balancing out the pH of the actual hair strand itself. And then during drier seasons, or if I have any people with scalp conditions where I'm trying to, balance the pH of the scalp too, I'll recommend a hair scalp oil. And they're two different. Make sure. I have a lot of people like, oh, can I put the scalp serum on my ends of my hair and the serum that's on the ends of my hair on the scalp? No, they're two different things. They both have two different needs. So if you have a scalp oil, for myself, everybody's different. I like to make my own, or I'll make them a carrier oil with like jojoba or almond, and I'll put whatever essential oil I want in there, depending on what it is. Sergio smiles because he likes essential oils too. And so
I'm a fan. Can't help myself.
And you can manipulate kind of like what you're trying to do, and I encourage them to go in and do a scalp massage, which is really good. It helps with de-stressing, it helps exfoliate, it helps your hair grow faster. There's so many benefits to doing a scalp oil treatment. So your case being in Prince Albert, right? Sorry, Peace River. I always mix the two up. I don't know why. I always done that. It's funny because everybody mixes them in St. Albert up. But yeah, I find too, with us being in the drier weather, like me in St. Albert, I know my scalp's really dry, so I like almond oil. So I'll put almond oil and I'll put tea tree in mine, just because I have history of seroderma and psoriasis. So I'll go in there and I'll do a scalp treatment on myself once a week or every 2 weeks, depending on how often I'm putting hand lotion on my hands. That's kind of my to let me know, okay, if my hands are dry, my scalp's probably dry. Do a treatment. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. San, you're nodding.
Awesome information. It's awesome. I'm learning from you today. It's just perfect.
Now, I want to get you talking, Biz, basically on the way the structure of the hair is being affected, particularly from nutrition, because we kind of skipped that subject for a moment, and I know that's your strong field. So I want you to talk us about foods that can help us build our hair properly.
I was actually thinking about, because Jasmine said that you did have a trauma before the onset of the trauma 6 months ago, and that will put us like a year and a half ago with the pregnancy, the onset of pregnancy. And so basically I was thinking that along these two big events in your life that you got some nutritional deficiencies, and we wouldn't know now which ones, because I think it has passed right now, since if you are not having new ones that are you're discovering right now, so that nutrition deficiency already have passed, and you are dealing now with the consequences, the after consequences basically. But I was wondering, like, if you ever had a blood test done, and if they noticed something.
For like my hormones and stuff, like my
no. Like maybe like iron deficiencies, zinc deficiencies. Did you do any blood tests?
I think my naturopath checked into quite a few things, but I'm not sure. I did go to her and I told her what was going on, and she sent me for tests, but I think she was more worried about my thyroid. But I'm not sure about the other ones. That's a good question.
Okay.
By any chance, did she perform? Sorry, Biz, did she perform an iris scan?
What is it?
The iris, the eye.
No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah,
Many naturopathic doctors, they like to do that, and it's a good test. It gives you an all-around view of what's happening inside the body through the iris, in the eyes. So it's very common among naturopathic doctors.
Okay,
yeah.
I could ask her about it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if like going back to that era, in a way these two big events could lead to disturbance in your microbiome, could lead to nutrient deficiencies, it could lead to a hormonal I'm sure there was hormonal imbalances since you got pregnant, and And even when we got traumatized in big events, we will have some hormonal deficiencies or imbalances too. So, I mean, since we don't know, we wouldn't be able to pinpoint what happened. But if that happened again, I invite you to look at your blood tests and see like what's changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be because our body is a whole, so any imbalance in one of our systems will lead to something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually,
That's-
when you ask about blood works, in terms of nutrients, vitamin C, vitamin B12, folic acid, iron, ferritin, copper, zinc, and the type of minerals that are not usually seen on the one of the major blood tests. The CMP, the comprehensive metabolic panel that many doctors like to use, because there's many minerals on that particular blood test, but some of them are left out, and usually you have to ask for those. Vitamin D, specifically, you have to ask for it. It will not show on that particular blood test. Or a CBC. On a CBC, they will only catch hemoglobin levels, and how the immune is working, basically, with white blood cells, red blood cells, and that's it. So whenever, and I get this a lot, people come to me in the office. Oh, my doctors, they did a bunch of blood tests, and they came out normal. Well, what's normal?
what's not
Yeah.
Because usually for hair, the the levels that we use, the trichological levels that we use, are a bit different than the standard ranges that labs will use to determine whether something is normal or not. So it's quite complicated
normal.
sometimes,
And
but we have to be more specific about the test that
yeah,
we
exactly,
will be
because
asking.
the ranges, exactly what he's saying, the trichological ranges are different. The ranges in Western medicine is way too huge depending on the population, because they average the whole population. And if you may know that our population is not the healthiest, so the average is not the healthiest average anyway. And also, I wanted to say that. Uh, um, Whoa, I blacked out. I wanted to say something important. It will come to me.
Again, Biz, I wanted to ask you about foods that could help
Yeah,
improve
that's what I
uh,
wanted to say.
quality of hair. Yeah.
Yes, that will strike me without seeing any blood tests or anything, but that will strike me that maybe you will need some more omega-3s. We need more oils to make it like smoother, the hair strand smoother. And also because of the pregnancy and another pregnancy right now, our omega-3 will be affected directly as women. And also I was wondering, that's what I was wanted to say. I was wondering if you took also prenatal vitamins. Did you take prenatal vitamins?
For my first or
Yeah.
second? My first, yes, I did. This
Okay.
time, I haven't been able to stomach them, to be honest.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. You know why I'm saying good? Because also prenatals it's a very generic multivitamin to take, especially in this
Yeah.
very particular like period of
Period.
your life.
Yeah.
It's so generic, and taking random prenatals, it could not be ending up like doing you any good or the baby any good.
Okay.
And the reason you are not digesting them properly now, that means your body doesn't want them.
Oh, okay.
We always should listen to our bodies because it's very important. Your body knows better than us. It will, when you don't stomach it, don't force yourself. Otherwise, your body's telling you don't.
Yeah.
These prenatals, we don't know exactly how much omega-3s or omega-6 the ratios. We don't know what fillers they have, uh, especially when you're in a very sensitive time like pregnancy or trauma. uh, any extra load on your toxins will actually directly increase your inflammation. Your inflammation is already high because of the pregnancy and if you are breastfeeding. So you're already on the higher level. So if you add to it anything, your bottle is already have like already getting filled with all the inflammation factors that's coming to your body. So adding fillers from these
Vitamins,
prenatal
yeah.
vitamins exactly could actually make it worse than better.
Okay.
I wouldn't take any prenatal vitamins before having a full test, blood test, and knowing exactly what do I need. And it will be the best approach will be if we take what we need pill by pill.
Okay. So
We
get a
don't
blood test, see what I'm low in, and then assess. Don't just take whatever. Okay.
Exactly.
we don't know it also when all these nutrients are put together how they are synthesized inside each other, how they are getting all in one pill. It's like so general. And you are taking all this pill that has 15, 20 nutrients, how it is getting absorbed into your body in this critical situation where maybe your microbiome is affected by being pregnant. Most likely it will be affected by being pregnant because of all the hormonal changes. How these pills are getting absorbed, is this the right nutrient for you and your baby? How your body is reacting to the toxic load from everything you're getting into your body. So it's
Okay.
not like I am against generalized supplements.
Solutions, yeah.
Okay.
It's so general. It's
No, that makes sense. It does. It makes sense a lot. And my
Now, Carrie, have you ever completed a um, epigenetic test on pregnant females yet?
Sorry, say that again.
Have you done an epigenetic test on females, on
Preg-
pregnant
on
females
pregnant
yet?
women? Yeah, I have done for a couple friends just to make sure to get everything all bounced out for them. And yep, yeah, it's quite neat
the
because
bodies are so different when a woman is pregnant than a woman is not pregnant. The same lady is
Exactly.
so
yeah,
different.
yeah. So what so I we do epigenetic testing in trichology, and we use a device called Cell Wellbeing, and
Okay.
so we could get real time information of what the person's needing based on their DNA. And so it's nice, like we get reports to help balance your immune system. And especially when we're pregnant, we can't take a lot of medication for nausea and colds and stuff. So the best order for a pregnant person is to keep their immune system high. And it's all about food first. And we give them a grocery bill or grocery list after with the foods that their body is needing that are rich in the nutrients, minerals, or vitamins that their body is needing based on them. It's quite fascinating. So, and you're not giving them prenatals because I find that with doing supplements, sometimes if you over supplement, you could cause more damage, and sometimes you could under supplement and do damage. And a lot of times when people supplement, they'll supplement indefinitely when you should be checking every 3 months
Okay.
on your vitamin intake and your supplement intake. And so with the epigenetics test, it's nice. We do that every 3 months, and we just kind of check and be like, okay, we're going to get you eat more apples and oranges this month because this is your body saying you need this, da 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 da, and kind of go from there. It's
That's
been
cool.
great.
And you do that right in Edmonton?
Yeah, I do in St. Albert here. So yeah, if you want to come, I'll set you up.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
That will be good for a next interview with Jasmine. How
Yeah.
she's doing with the pregnancy. You know how we're doing with the epigenetic test and everything. It is a wonderful subject. I know we steer away from the crinkly hair into the pregnancy, but it has so much to do about it into the process, considering the nutritional aspects of it and of course the hormonal aspects of it. So in terms of the nutrition, pregnancy is quite tricky. Because as Bisan and Carrie were mentioning, there are specific needs that usually are not being taken care of properly. Most gynecologists will prescribe those prenatal supplements like candy. Same thing for everyone. No, that's so wrong. You never use the same thing with everyone else because everyone else is different. And of course, whenever we talk about pregnancy, we have a lot of digestive issues. Like for instance, right now, Jasmine, you're unable to take your prenatal because you're getting bloated, maybe some constipation, some of the common stuff that goes with pregnancy. But how do we go around that and make sure that you're getting properly the proper nutrition into the body, without getting nausea and all that stuff that comes around with it? So it's quite interesting and of course tricky at the same time how we manage those things, because at the same time you get your own cravings with the pregnancy. And of course, those cravings can be brutal in the body, but it feels so good when you finally get what your body is aching and telling you to get. So it's quite an amazing journey. And also I like to point out that I love using pregnancy as a catapult to hair growth. I love doing that. So maybe we could do an episode on pregnancy because I really love using pregnancy as a catapult to increase hair growth and hair thickness all around it. So I got a good strategy for that.
Nice.
Yeah, I also want to talk to you about cravings. So you're talking about cravings, and this doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not. And this is from my hematologist that told me to be really aware of my cravings, and there's want cravings and need cravings. So if you're craving something because you want it, that's a whole different, it's a self-awareness thing. You start to train yourself on when you need stuff. So when I was finding that I was craving something and the craving would not go away, like 3 days later, I'm still craving something, it's usually an indicator your body needs it. And so, for example, garlic. If I'm craving garlic because I want it, I tell you, I'll eat 1 clove and you do not want to be near me. But if I'm having it because I need it and I can't shake it, it's usually an indication that my body is needing whatever nutrient that is in there. And I could eat 2 full bulbs. You won't even know I ate it. I'll eat it right in front of you and you won't even know I ate it. And it's because my body needs it. So being really hyper aware of that. And so I started taking, and Basan's an advocate of these little food journals, but I would start taking notes of food I was craving and how I was feeling. I'd be like, okay, I'm feeling kind of nauseous and I'm feeling lethargic and my muscles are achy. I wonder what that is, but I'm craving tomatoes. Why am I craving tomatoes? So I'll look it up and be like, okay, what are the nutrients that are tomatoes high in? And I'd be like, oh, they're high in and I'm feeling like that. And then I'll eat the tomatoes and they'll go away. So start observing too, and especially being pregnant, if you're getting nauseous, usually for me, when I was nauseous during pregnancy, it was usually because I was hungry or I was starting to be becoming, I always had to have food in my system all the time. And so I started observing, and it's interesting when you start observing that, whether you're pregnant or not. I encourage everybody to be really aware and self-aware of their body, because it changes everything. I tell you, now I'm so aware of when I'm craving something and then my body and how I feel. And I'm like, I haven't had a banana in a long time. No wonder my joints are cramping up. I'm low in potassium. So yeah, so it's interesting. Basan being a wellness coach, she's nodding. I'm you.
100%. I always tell the clients, listen to your body. Your body is your doctor. Our bodies are miracles. And the thing that we nowadays, we lost touch with our bodies and we lost touch with our spirit, and because we're so busy all the time and our mind is like ding, 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 going so fast. But if you tune into your body and slowly, you will get to hear what it's telling you. And it's not something that will happen overnight. You need to train yourself to do that. It's very interesting. When I eat something not good, immediately I will be thirsty different thirst. I will have dry mouth. Now I ate something in the morning. I think it's a new protein bar that didn't go well with me. Right away, I have dry mouth. I feel like gassy and not comfortable right away.
It's interesting, how you get trained to be more aware of those little changes in the body, because usually most people will never pay attention to that. Be like, and just kick at it and move on to the next thing. But being able to be aware of your body changes, even when they're little changes, and more so being open to understand what those changes means. It's quite fascinating. So, understanding ourselves, it's quite interesting.
If you guys want me to share a little bit more, it's a medical issue. Since I have food sensitivity, so anything that I will doesn't agree with me, immediately I feel it. And I did not look in the mirror yet, but I am sure I have a white tongue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you do.
Without even looking, I know. I know immediately that something in that bar didn't go well with me. sometimes your tongue will tell you. Your tongue, if it is rough in the edges, that you are definitely having like food sensitivities. If it is dry and white like that, means your microbiome didn't.
I'm moving the tongue in my mouth right now to see if I feel it rough inside of something.
Yeah. So these things like the iris of the eye, that your tongue, your bloating, your joint aches, your mood, all come in to what you eat. And if you have a food journal and you will track your emotions with what you eat, with what how your body feels, eventually you will tune into your body and know what goes right and what goes wrong.
Interesting. We're going to have to do a full talk on this. So,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
did we answer some questions for you today?
Pardon?
Did we answer some questions for you today?
No, you definitely did. Thank you so much. I think just you guys, definitely touched base on everything. Like I had some ideas, but it kind of like definitely answered more that the unknown that I've been thinking of. And I definitely want to get more tests and, like you said, see what I'm lacking and all that. And I do think it's important, like you said, every 3 months, because it's blown my mind. Like even when my daughter was 2, like 3, how my body was still recovering from pregnancy, like how long it takes for your body to recover from that and your hormones to balance out and everything. Like, and I definitely feel like I'm a better stylist because of it. Like if I have a mom in my chair, like I can really resonate with them. And things that like they probably wouldn't have brought up to me before if I wouldn't have asked the right questions. So yeah, it's really important.
That's why we love trichology.
Yeah.
And that is why you guys are watching the Hair Wire. So please smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share the video. If you like our content, please share it with the world. And also visit our other social media. Visit us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, The Hair Wire, and visit our website, thehairwire.com. Also, our summit's still running. We still have a running summit right now. Visit thehairwire.com/summit. Get your tickets and start digesting all that information that we have in there for you. If you are a cosmetologist and you want to get your feet wet into the trichology industry, this will be a good opportunity for you right now. So visit thehairwire.com/summit, get your tickets, and start enjoying this amazing education program that we have in store for you. We have some of the best and brightest minds in the trichology world, as alongside with some of the most innovative people in the wellness industry. We have the biohacker babes, and of course some other people's in the biohacking world doing amazing talks here at the Hair Wire. So you do not want to miss that. So again, click subscribe and of course like the channel. Anything you guys want to add before we go? We're good, right? Oh my gosh, it has been an amazing episode. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in today. We hope to see you next week. And again, God bless you all. See you then. Bye-bye.